In this world, mana permeated everything. If mana were water, then the human body would be an empty vessel. Place that vessel in the sea. What happens? Naturally, it fills. That was why Yuki's body had gradually begun to generate mana. Not all at once, not violently, but slowly, as mana from the world around him seeped inside. Through that process, his body adapted. The mana he expended could now recover on its own. With focus, it recovered even faster and drew from the mana in the air. At first, Yuki had not thought much of it. Only later, after learning how magic normally worked, did he realize how strange his situation truly was. In this world, mages could not absorb natural mana directly. Only the Heart Kingdom had mastered a refined method called mana words. Through it, they merged natural mana with their own and created true magic. Another exception existed. High-level mages could manifest a mana zone. It was a domain that forcibly borrowed natural mana within its range. Compared to the Heart Kingdom's technique, mana zone was crude, violent, and unrefined. When Yuki first realized he could passively absorb natural mana, he was thrilled. But after weeks of testing, reality set in. Aside from slightly faster recovery, he could not actually use it. Still, the discovery was not meaningless. It suggested something important. His ability might be tied to his soul, to the part of him that did not belong to this world. And then there was Asta. In a world overflowing with mana, Asta had none. None at all. The fact that someone like him could even exist defied all logic. Around that time, Yuki noticed something else. Meditation, his daily habit, helped his mana recover faster. That was how the rumor began. People said Yuki gained mana simply by sitting around. But for the past year, his mana growth had stopped completely. His vessel was full. Once it was full, no more water could flow in. That was the real problem. Yuki's mana reserves were not impressive. Barely 1/3 of Yuno's, not even close to half. In this world, mana quantity represented talent, potential, the foundation of a mage's strength. A mage's power was judged by two things: mana quantity and magic type. Neither outweighed the other. Generally, those with more mana could unleash greater power. The hierarchy was clear: devils, elves, royalty, nobles, commoners, peasants. Even so, with only 1/3 of Yuno's mana, Yuki still surpassed most commoners and peasants. After all, Yuki knew who Yuno really was. Not just a gifted orphan, but royalty in terms of mana alone. If Asta had not stolen the spotlight so often, Yuki might have mistaken Yuno for the main character.
All right, enough of that meditation stuff. Yuki, I've been training all week for this match. This time I'm not losing.
Yuki sighed. He was long used to Asta forgetting simple words like meditation. Propping one hand on the mossy boulder, Yuki jumped down lightly. "All right," he said with a faint smile. "Let's see what you've got." He stretched his legs. They were still a little numb from sitting too long. For 5 years, Yuki had sparred regularly with Asta and Yuno. It had started when he first arrived in this world. Lost, powerless, without magic. That had been a dark time. But with Asta constantly bouncing around, Yuki's mindset quickly adjusted. As his mana awakened, their sparring evolved, from practice to duels to real fights. At first, Yuki lost more than he won. Then, they tied evenly. For the past 2 years, Asta had not won even once. Somewhere along the way, Yuno had joined their training. Yuki's matches with Yuno usually ended in a draw. Even with far greater mana, Yuno could not truly threaten him without a grimoire. After confirming their match, Yuuki and Asta moved to an open patch of grass.
I'm coming at you, Yuki.
Asta slammed one foot into the ground. His fist rose high. His voice carried across the clearing. "Come on, then." Yuki nodded calmly. The moment he finished speaking, Asta lunged. His speed was feral, explosive. In an instant, he was in front of Yuki. A muscular arm shot forward. The punch aimed straight at Yuki's chest. "You're too straightforward, Asta. Attacks like that are easy to read."
I know that, that's why.
Yuki sidestepped left. The punch cut through empty air. Asta spun sharply. A sidekick tore through the air. That was the real attack. Yuuki raised an eyebrow. He crossed his arms just in time. Thud. The impact echoed through the clearing. Force surged through Yuki's arms. It pushed him back several steps before he steadied himself. Not bad. You've gotten stronger. Yuki shook the numbness from his arms. There was mild surprise in his voice.
Of course I have. I train every day. I doubled my routine this week. Now fight me seriously. I've got new moves.
That was Asta. Yuki was not worried about those so-called special moves. What interested him more was Asta's body. Even without mana, Asta had forged his physique through sheer willpower. It was monstrous, unnatural. Yuki suspected something deeply unusual about Asta's body, something even the stories had never explained. Well then, you'd better brace yourself. Yuki's expression turned serious. He was not planning to hold back. In raw strength, he could not match Asta. Silver-white mana burst from his body. It coated him completely like a shimmering veil. Every person's mana carried a unique hue. Mana coating. Yuki's voice remained calm and firm. It was a technique he had created himself. He applied mana directly over his body. Defense, strength, speed, reaction time. Every aspect was reinforced. The technique itself was not complicated. It required precise control. Thanks to daily meditation, Yuki's control had become refined. Still, this was only an imitation, a crude prototype of mana skin. Even so, Asta's expression hardened. Though he could not sense mana, he felt it. Pressure. Here I come! Yuki stepped forward. The ground cracked beneath his feet. In an instant, he vanished. He reappeared right in front of Asta.